will the king come, that I may breathe my last, and hold some counsel to his unstayed youth.
Vex not yourself, nor strive not with your breath, for all in vain comes counsel to his ear.
Oh, but they say the tongues of dying men enforce attention like deep harmony, where words are scarce. They are seldom spent in vain, for they breathe truth and breathe their words in vain. He that no more must say is listened more, than they whom youth and ease have taught to clues. More men's ends marked than their lives before, the setting sun and music at the close, as the last taste of sweets is sweet as last, written remembrance more than things long past. Though Richard my life's counsel would not hear, my death's sad tale may yet undeaf his ear.
No, it is stopped with other flattering sounds, as praises of whose taste the wise are fond, lascivious meters, to whose venom sound the open ear of youth doth always listen, report of fashions in proud Italy, whose manner still our tardy apish nation limps after in base imitation. When doth the world thrust forth a vanity, so it be new, there's no respect how vile, that is not quickly buzzed into his ears. And all too late comes counsel to be heard, where will doth mutiny with wit's regard direct not him whose way himself will choose. 'Tis breath thou lackest, and that breath wilt thou lose.
Methinks I am a prophet, though inspired, and thus expiring, do foretell of him. His rash, fierce blaze of riot cannot last, for violent fires soon burn out themselves. Small showers last long, but sudden storms are short. He tires betimes, that spurs too fast betimes. With eager feeding food doth choke the feeder. Light vanity, insatiate cormorant, consuming means, soon preys upon itself. This royal throne of kings, this sceptred isle, this earth of majesty, this seat of Mars, this other Eden, demi-paradise, this fortress built by nature for herself, against infection, and then of war, this happy breed of men, this little world, this precious stone set in the silver sea, which serves it in the office of a wall, or as a moat defensive to a house against the envy of less happier lands. This blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England, this nurse, this teeming womb of royal kings, feared by their breed and famous by their birth, renowned for their deeds as far from home, for Christian service and true chivalry, as is the sepulchre in stubborn jewelry of the world's ransom, blessed Mary's son. This land of such dear souls, this dear, dear land, dear for her reputation through the world, is now leased out. I die pronouncing it, like to a tenement or building bar. England, bound in with the triumphancy, whose rocky shore beats back the envious sea to watery Neptune, is now bound in with shame, with inky blots and rotten parchment bonds, that England, that was wont to conquer others, hath made a shameful conquest of itself. Ah, would the scandal vanish with my life, how happy then were my ensuing death.
The king has come. Deal madly with his youth, for young hard colts being raged to rage the more.
How fares our noble Uncle Lancaster? What comfort, man? How is't with aged Gaunt?
Oh, well, that name befits my composition. Old Gaunt indeed, and gaunt in being old. Within me grief hath kept a tedious fast, and who abstains from meat that is not gaunt. For sleeping England, long time have I watched. Watching breeds leanness. Leanness is all gaunt. The pleasure that some fathers feed upon is my strict fast. I mean my children's looks. In therein fasting hast thou made me gaunt. Gaunt am I for the grave. Gaunt as a grave, whose hollow womb inherits naught but bones.
Can sick men play so nicely with their names?
No, misery makes more to mock itself. Since thou dost seek to kill my name in me, I mock my name, great king, to flatter thee.
Should dying men flatter with those that live?
No, no! In living, flatter those that die.
Thou, now a dying, sayest thou flatterest me?
Oh, no! Thou diest, though I the sicker be.
I am in health. I breathe and see thee ill.
Now, he that made me knows I see thee ill. Ill in myself to see, and in thee seeing ill. Thy deathbed is no lesser than thy land, wherein thou liest in reputation sick. And thou, too careless patient as thou art, committest thy anointed body to the cure of those physicians that first wounded thee. 1,000 flatterers sit within thy crown, whose compass is no bigger than thy head, and yet, engaged in so small a verge, the waste is no whit lesser than thy land. No! And thy grandsire, with a prophet's eye, seeing how his son's son should destroy his sons, from forth thy reach he would have laid thy shame, deposing thee before thou wert possessed, which art possessed now to depose thyself. My cousin, wert thou regent of the world, it were a shame to let this land by lease. But for thy world enjoying but this land, is it not more than shame to shame it so? Landlord of England, art thou now not king? Thy state of law is bond slave to the law. And
A lunatic, lean-witted fool, presuming on an argue's privilege, darest with thy frozen admonition make pale our cheek, chasing the royal blood with fury from his native residence. Now, by my seat's right royal majesty, wert thou not brother to great Edward's son, this tongue that runs so roundly in thy head should run thy head from thy unreverent shoulders.
oh, spare me not, my brother Edward's son, for that I was his father Edward's son. That blood already, like the pelican, has so tapped out and drunkenly caroused. My brother Gloucester, plain well-meaning soul, fair with all 11 amongst happy souls, may be a precedent and witness good that thou respects not spilling Edward's blood. Join with the present sickness that I have, and thy unkindness be like crooked age. To crop at once a too long withered flower. Live in thy shame, but die not. Shame with thee. These words after thy tormented me. Convey me to my bed and to my grave. Love thee to live that love and honor have.
And let them die that age and sullens have. For both hadst thou, and both become the grave.
I do beseech your majesty impute his words to wayward sickliness and age in him. He loves you, on my life, and holds you dear, as Harry, Duke of Hereford, were he here.
Right, you say true. As Hereford's love, so his. As theirs, so mine. And all be as it is.
My liege, Lord God commends him to your majesty.
What says he?
Nay, nothing. All is said. His tongue is now a stringless instrument. Words, life, and all old Lancaster hath spent.
Be York the next that must be bankrupt, so though death be poor, it ends a mortal woe.
The ripest fruit first falls, and so doth he. His time is spent. Our pilgrimage must be. So much for that. Now, for our Irish wars, we must supplant those rough, rug-headed curs, which live like venom where no venom else, but only they have privilege to live. And for these great affairs do ask some charge. Towards our assistance we do seize to us the plate, coin, revenues, and movables, whereof our Uncle Gaunt did stand possessed.
How long shall I be patient? Ah, how long? Shall tender duty make me suffer wrong? Not Gloucester's death, nor Hereford's banishment, nor Gaunt's rebukes, nor England's private wrongs, nor the prevention of poor Bolingbroke about his marriage, nor my own disgrace have ever made me sour my patient cheek, or bend one wrinkle on my sovereign's face. I am the last of noble Edward's sons, of whom thy father, Prince of Wales, was first. In war was never lion rage more fierce, in peace was never gentle lamb more mild. Then was that young and princely gentleman, his face thou hast, for even so looked he, accomplished with the number of thy hours. But when he frowned, it was against the French, and not against his friends. His noble hand did win what he did spend, and spent not that which his triumphant father's hand had won. His hands were guilty of no kindred blood, but bloody with the enemies of his kin. Oh, Richard, York is too far gone with grief, or else he never would compare between.
Why, uncle, what's the matter?
Oh, my liege, pardon me, if you please. If not, I, please not to be parted, am content with all. Seek you to seize and gripe into your hands the royalties and rights of banished Hereford? Is not Gaunt dead, and doth not Hereford live? Was not Gaunt just, and is not Harry true? Did not the one deserve to have an heir? Is not his heir a well-deserving son? Take Hereford's rights away, and take from time his charters and customary rights. Let not tomorrow then ensue today. Be not thyself, for how art thou a king but by fair sequence and succession? Now, afore God, God forbid I say true, if you do wrongfully seize Hereford's right, call in the letters patents that he hath by his attorneys general to sue his livery, and deny his offered homage. You pluck 1,000 dangers on your head. You lose 1,000 well-disposed hearts, and prick my tender patience to those thoughts which honor and allegiance cannot think.
Think what you will. We seize into our hands his plate, his goods, his money, and his lands.
I'll not be by the while. My liege, farewell. What will ensue, hereof there's none can tell, but by bad courses may be understood that their events can never fall out good.
Go, Bushy, to the Earl of Wiltshire straight. bid him repair to us to Ely House to see this business. Tomorrow next we will for Ireland, and 'tis time, I trow, and we create in absence of ourself our Uncle York, Lord Governor of England, for he is just and always loved us well. Come on, our Queen, tomorrow must we part. Be merry, for our time of stay is short.
Well, Lord, the Duke of Lancaster is dead.
And living too, for now his son is Duke.
Barely entitled, not in revenue.
Richly in both, if justice had her right.
My heart is great, but it must break with silence. It be disburdened with a liberal tongue.
Nay, speak thy mind, and let him ne'er speak more that speaks thy words against to do thee harm. 'Tis that thou wouldst speak to the Duke of Hereford. If it be so, out with it boldly, man. Quick is mine ear to hear of good towards him.
No good at all that I can do for him, unless you call it good to pity him, bereft and gelded of his patrimony.
Now, before God, 'tis shame such wrongs are born in him a royal prince and many more of noble blood in this declining land. The king is not himself, but basely led by flatterers, and what they will inform, merely in hate, gainst any of us all. That will the king severely prosecute against us, our lives, our children, and our heirs.
The commons hath he billed with grievous taxes, and quite lost their heart. The nobles hath he fined for ancient quarrels, and quite lost their heart.
And daily new exactions are devised, as blanks benevolences, and I wot not what. But what, a God's name, doth become of this?
Wars hath not wasted it, for what he hath not, but basely yielded upon compromise, that which his noble ancestors achieved with blows. More hath he spent in peace than they in wars.
The Earl of Wiltshire hath the realm in farm.
The king's grown bankrupt, like a broken man. Reproach and dissolution hangeth over him.
He hath not money for these Irish wars, his burdenless taxations notwithstanding, but by the robbing of the banished Duke.
His noble kinsman, most degenerate king! But Lord, we hear this fearful tempest sing, yet seek no shelter to avoid the storm. We see the wind sit sore upon our sails, and yet we strike not, but securely perish.
We see the very wrack that we must suffer, and unavoided is the danger now for suffering so the causes of our wrack.
Not so. Even in the hollow eyes of death I spy life peering, but I dare not say how near the tidings of our comfort is. Nay, let us share thy thoughts, as thou dost ours.
Be confident to speak, Northumberland. We three are but thyself, and speaking so thy words are but as thoughts. Therefore be bold.
Then thus, I have from Le Port Blanc, a bay in Brittany, received intelligence that Harry, Duke of Hereford, Reynold Lord Cobham, the son and heir of the Earl of Arundel, that late broke from the Duke of Exeter, his brother, Archbishop late of Canterbury, Sir Thomas Erpingham, Sir John Ramsden, Sir John Norbury, Sir Robert Waterton, and Francis Coit, all these well furnished by the Duke of Brittany, with 8 tall ships, 3,000 men of war, are making hither with all due expedience, and shortly mean to touch our northern shore. Perhaps they had hear this, but that they stay the first departing of the King for Ireland,
If then we shall take off our slavish yoke, then bow to our drooping country's broken wing, redeem from broken upon the blemished crown, wipe off the dust that hides our scepter's guild, and make high majesty look like itself. Away with me and post a raven's burr. But if you wait, as fearing to do so, stay and be secret, and myself will go.
To horse, urge thou Tim that fear.
Hold out my horse, and I will first be there.
Madam! Your Majesty is too much sad. You promised when you parted with the king to lay aside life-harming heaviness and entertain a cheerful disposition.
To please the king, I did. To please myself, I cannot do it. Yet, I know no cause why I should welcome such a guest as grief, save bidding farewell to so sweet a guest as my sweet Richard. Yet again, methinks, some unborn sorrow, ripe in fortune's womb, is coming towards me, and my inward soul with nothing trembles. At something it grieves more than with parting from my lord the king.
Each substance of a grief hath 20 shadows, which shows like grief itself, but is not so. For sorrow's eye, glazed with blinding tears, divides one thing entire too many objects, like perspectives, which rightly gazed upon show nothing but confusion. Eye to eye, distinguish form. So, your sweet majesty, looking awry upon your lord's departure, finds shapes of grief more than himself to wail, which, looked on as it is naught but shadows of what is not. Then, thrice gracious queen, more than your lord's departure weep not, more is not seen, or if it be, 'tis not with false sorrow's eye, which for things true reaps things imaginary.
It may be so, but yet my inward soul persuades me it is otherwise. Howe'er it be, I cannot but be sad, so heavy sad, as though in thinking on no thought I think, makes me with heavy nothing faint and shriek.
'Tis nothing but conceit, my gracious lady.
'Tis nothing less. Conceit is still derived from some forefather grief. Mine is not so, for nothing hath begot my something grief, or something hath the nothing that I grieve. 'Tis in reversion that I do possess, but what it is, that is not yet known. What I cannot name, 'tis nameless woe, I wot.
God save your majesty. Well met, gentlemen. I hope the king is not yet shipped for Ireland.
Why hopest thou so? 'Tis better hope he is, for his designs crave haste. His haste, good hope. Then wherefore dost thou hope he is not shipped?
That he, our hope, might have retired his power and driven into despair an enemy's hope, who strongly hath set footing in this land. The banished Bolingbroke repeals himself in with uplifted arms. He safe arrived at Ravensburg.
Now God in heaven forbid!
Ah, madam, 'tis too true, and that is worse. The Lord Northumberland, his son young Henry Percy, the lords of Ross, Beaumont, and Willoughby, with all their powerful friends, are fled to him. Why have you not proclaimed Northumberland and all the rest revolted faction traitors? We have! Whereupon the Earl of Worcester hath broken his stand, resigned his stewardship, and all the household servants fled with him to Bolingbroke.
So, Green, thou art the midwife to my woe, and Bolingbroke my sorrow's despair. Now hath my soul brought forth and brought she, and I, a gasping new delivered mother, have woe to woe, sorrow to sorrow joined. Despair not, madam. Who shall hinder me? I will despair, and be at enmity with cozening hope. He is a flatterer, a parasite, a keeper back of death, who gently would dissolve the bands of life, which false hope lingers in extremity.
Here comes the Duke of York.
With signs of war about his aged neck, how full of careful business are his looks. Uncle, for God's sake, speak comfortable words.
Should I do so, I should belie my thoughts, comforts in heaven, and we are on the earth, where nothing lives but crosses, cares, and grief. Your husband, he is gone to save far off, whilst others come to make him lose at home. Here am I left to underprop his hand, who, weak with age, cannot support myself. Now comes the sick hour that his servant made. Now shall he try his friends that flattered him.
My lord, your son was gone before I came.
He was? Why, so go I was acquainted with. The nobles, they are fled, the commons, they are cold, and I fear, revolt on every side. Sarah, get thee to Plashy, to my sister Gloucester. Bid her send me presently £1,000. Hold, take my ring.
My lord, I had forgot to tell your lordship today, as I came by. I called it there, but I shall grieve you to report the rest.
What is knave?
An hour before I came, the Duchess died.
God, for his mercy, what a tide of woes comes rushing on this woeful land at once. I know not what to do. Oh, to God, so my untruth had not provoked him to it. The king had cut off my head with my brothers. What? Are there no posts dispatched for Ireland? How shall we do for money for these wars? Come, sister, cousin, I would say, pray pardon me. Go, fellow, get thee home, provide some carts, and bring away the armor that is there. Oh, gentlemen, will you go muster men? If I know how or which way to order these affairs, thus disorderly thrust into my hands, never believe me. Both are my kinsmen. The one is my sovereign, whom both my oath and duty bids amend. The other again is my kinsman, whom the king hath wronged. I'm come to send my kinsman bids to right. Well, somewhat we must do. Come, Carson, I'll dispose of you. Gentlemen, go muster up your men, and meet me presently at Berkeley. I should to Plashy too, but time will not permit. All is uneven, and everything is left at 6 and 7.
Wind sits fair for news to go for Ireland, but none returns. For us to levy power proportionable to the enemy is all impossible.
Besides, our nearness to the king in love is near the hate of those love not the king.
And that's the wavering commons, for their love lies in their purses, and whoso empties them by so much fills their hearts with deadly hate. Wherein the king stands generally condemned if judgment lie in them, and so do we. because we ever have been near the king.
Well, I will for refuge straight to Bristol Castle. The Earl of Wiltshire is already there.
Thither will I with you, for little office will the hateful commons perform for us, except, like curs, to tear us all to pieces. Will you go along with us? No, I will to Ireland, to his majesty. Farewell, if heart's presages be not vain, we three here part, that ne'er shall meet again. That says York thrives to beat back Bolingbroke. Alas, poor Duke, the task he undertakes is numbering sands and drinking oceans dry. Where one on his side fights, thousands will fly. Farewell at once, for all, and ever. Well, we may meet again. I fear me, never.
How far is it, my lord, to Berkeley now?
Believe me, noble lord, I am a stranger here in Gloucestershire. These high wild hills and rough, uneven ways draws out our miles and makes them wearisome. And yet your fair discourse hath been as sugar, making the hard way sweet and delectable. But I bethink me what a weary way from Ravensburg to Cotswold will be found in Ross and Willoughby, wanting your company, which, I protest, hath very much beguiled the tediousness and process of my travel. But theirs is sweetened with the hope to have the present benefit, which I possess, and hope to joy is little less enjoyed than hope enjoyed. By this the weary lord shall make their way seem short, as mine hath done by sight of what I have, your noble company.
Of much less value is my company than your good words. But who comes here?
It is my son, young Harry Percy, sent from my brother Worcester, whatsoever. Harry, how fares your uncle?
I had thought, my lord, to have learned his hell of you.
Why? Is he not with the Queen?
No, my good lord, he hath forsook the court, broken his staff of office, and dispersed the household of the king.
What was his reason? He was not so resolved when last we spake together.
Because your lordship was proclaimed a traitor. But he, my lord, is gone to Ravensburg to offer service to the Duke of Hereford, and sends me over by Berkeley to discover what power the Duke of York had levied there, then with directions to repair to Ravensburg.
Have you forgot the Duke of Hereford, boy?
No, my good lord, for that is not forgot, which now I did remember. To my knowledge, I never in my life did look on him.
Then learn to know him now. This is the Duke.
My gracious lord, I tender you my service, such as it is, being tender, raw and young, which elder days shall ripen and confirm to more approved service and desert.
I thank thee, gentle Percy, and be sure I count myself in nothing else so happy as in a soul remembering my good friends. And as my fortune ripens with thy love, it shall be still thy true love's recompense. My heart this covenant makes, my hand thus seals it.
How far is it to Berkeley? And what stir keeps good old York there with his men of war?
There stands the castle by yon tuft of trees, manned with 300 men, as I have heard, and in it are the lords of York, Berkeley, and Seymour, none else of name and noble estimate.
Oh, here
comes the Lords of Ross and Willoughby, bloody with spring, fiery red with age. Welcome, my lords. I watch your love pursues a banished traitor. All my treasury is yet but unfelt thanks, which, more enriched, shall be your love and labor's recompense. Your presence makes us rich, most noble lord, and far surmounts our labor to attain it. Evermore thanks, the exchequer of the poor, which, till my infant fortune comes to years, stands for my bounty. But who comes here? It is my Lord of Berkeley, as I guess.
My Lord of Hereford, my message is to you.
My lord, my answer is to Lancaster, and I am come to seek that name in England, and I must find that title in your tongue before I make reply to aught you say.
Mistake me not, my lord. 'Tis not my meaning to raise one title of your honor out. To you, my lord, I come, what lord you will, from the most gracious regions of this land, the Duke of York, to know what pricks you on to take advantage of the absent time and fright our native peace with self-born arms.
I shall not need transport my words by you. Here comes his grace in person. My noble uncle, show me thy humble heart, and not thy knee, whose duty is deceivable and false. My gracious uncle! Grace me no grace, no uncle me no uncle. I am no traitor's uncle, and that's word grace, in that ungracious mouth is but profane. Why have those banished and forbidden legs dared once to touch the dust of England's ground? But then, why have they dared to march so many miles upon her peaceful bosom, frightening her pale-faced villagers with war and ostentation of despise and arms? Comest thou because the anointed king is thence? Why, foolish boy, the king is left behind, and in my loyal bosom lies his power. Were I but now lord of such hot youth as when brave Gaunt, thy father, and myself rescued the Black Prince, that young Mars of men, from forth the ranks of many thousand French. Oh, then how quickly should this arm of mine, now prisoner to the palsy, chastise thee, and minister correction to thy fault. My gracious uncle, let me know my fault. On what condition stands it and wherein? Even in condition of the worst degree, in gross rebellion and detested treason, thou art a banished man, and here art come, before the expiration of thy time, in braving arms against thy sovereign. As I was banished Hereford, but as I come for Lancaster. And noble uncle, I beseech your grace, look on my wrongs with an indifferent eye. You are my father, for methinks in you I see old Gaunt alive. Oh then, my father, will you permit that I shall stand condemned, a wandering vagabond, my rights and royalties plucked from my arms perforce, and given away to upstart thrifts? Wherefore was I born? If that my cousin King be king in England, it must be granted I am Duke of Lancaster. You have a son, Earl, my noble cousin. Had you first died, and he been thus trod down, he should have found his Uncle Gaunt a father, to rouse his wrongs, and chase them to the bay. I am denied to see my livery here, and yet my letters patents give me leave. My father's goods are all distrained and sold, and these, and all, are all amiss employed. What would you have me do? I am a subject and I challenge law. Attorneys are denied me, and therefore personally I lay my claim to my inheritance of free descent.
The noble Duke has been too much abused.
It stands your grace upon to do him right. Base men by his endowments are made great. My lords of England, let me tell you this. They've had feeling of my cousin's wrongs, and labored all I could to do him right. but in this kind to come in brave arms, be his own carver and cut out his way, to find out right with wrong, it may not be. And you that do abet him in this kind, cherish rebellion, and our rebels all. The Lord hath sworn his coming is but for his own, and for the right of that, we all have strongly sworn to give him aid. And let him never see joy that breaks that oath. Well, I see the issue of these hearts. I cannot mend it. I must needs confess. Because my power is weak, and all ill left. But if I could, by him that gave me life, I would attach you all, and make you stoop unto the sovereign mercy of the king. But since I cannot, be it known unto you, I do remain as neuter. So fare you well, unless you please to enter the castle and there repose you for this night. Enough, uncle, that we will accept. But we must win your grace to go with us to Bristol Castle, which, they say, is held by Bushy, Bagot, and their accomplices. The caterpillars of the Commonwealth, which I have sworn to weed and pluck away. It may be I will go with you, but yet I'll pause, for I am loath to break our country's laws. Nor friends nor foes, to me welcome you are. Things past redress are now with me, past care. My lord of Salisbury, we have stayed in days, and hardly kept our countrymen together, and yet we hear no tidings from the king. Therefore we will disperse ourselves. Farewell.
Stay yet another day, thou trusty Welshman. The king reposeth all his confidence in thee.
Tis thought the king is dead. We will not stay. The bay trees in our country are all withered, and meteors fright the fixed stars of heaven. The pale-faced moon looks bloody on the earth, and lean-looked prophets whisper fearful shades. Rich men look sad, and ruffians dance and leap. The one in fear to lose what they enjoy, the other to enjoy by rage and war. These signs forerun the death or fall of kings. Farewell, our countrymen are gone and fled, as well assured Richard their king is dead.
Ah, Richard, with the eyes of heavy mind, I see thy glory, like a shooting star, fall to the base earth from the firmament. Thy sun sets weeping in the lowly west, witnessing storms to come, woe and unrest. Thy friends are fled to wait upon thy foes, and crossly to thy good all fortune goes.